I want to start today with a specific kind of person, a certain archetype.
Yeah.
It's a term we throw it around a lot in history books, but we rarely apply it to anyone modern. The tinkerer.
The tinkerer. Or maybe the Renaissance man, though that always feels a bit lofty.
It does. It sounds a bit grandiose. You immediately picture, like, Benjamin Franklin with a kite.
Or Da Vinci sketching helicopters, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We associate it with parchment and, quill pens. But I've been thinking about what that personality looks like right now in 2026.
The age of algorithms and influencers.
Right. And 15-second video clips. Does the true tinkerer still exist?
You mean the person who isn't just performing for an audience, but is genuinely, almost obsessively curious about how the world works?
Yes.
Yeah.
The person who documents everything. Not because they want likes, but because they just need to understand the system.
I see where you're going with this.
Today, we are diving into a source that answers that question with a resounding yes. We're looking at a site called keynm.org. It's the personal digital archive of a man named Aang.
And calling it an archive is really the only way to do it justice. This isn't a blog in the way we usually think of them.
Oh.
5 recipes and maybe a life update once a month. This is a massive, structured repository of data.
Generated by one man's daily life. It's intense. And our mission today is to look at just one specific entry from January 24, 2026.
Okay.
It's titled Notes on Gardening, Part 786. Should we explore Mother of Thousands?
Part 786. Wow.
Right. But to really understand why this post matters, and to understand the plant he's talking about, we have to understand the mind that's looking at the plant.
Right. Because Aang isn't a botanist by trade. He doesn't claim to be a master gardener or anything.
No. In his bio, he describes himself as an old software plumber.
Which is such a fantastic phrase, plumber.
It is, isn't it?
It implies he deals with the messy infrastructure. He's not the architect designing the shiny facade. He's the guy in the basement making sure the pipes don't burst.
He fixes the internet's plumbing. And he explicitly mentions that he spends his nights tinkering with free Libra and open source software, or floss.
And that distinction is crucial here. Floss isn't just about software being free of charge. It's a whole philosophy.
It's about transparency.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea that the code, the actual blueprints of the software, must be open for anyone to inspect, to modify, repair, and improve.
It's the complete opposite of the black box technology most of us use. Like, I have no idea how my phone's operating system actually works.
Right.
I'm not allowed to know.
You're a user, not an admin. Aang lives in that open source world where you are expected to look under the hood. If something breaks, you don't call support, you read the code and you fix it.
And what we're going to see in this deep dive is that he takes that exact same mindset, that system administrator mindset.
The desire to see the root code.
And he applies it to literally everything else in his life. I was scrolling through the sidebar of his site, and the taxonomy of his life is just staggering.
It's a map of a hyper-curious brain. You see categories like notes on fish keeping, notes on dieting, notes on photography.
And the numbers attached to their categories are what just stopped me in my tracks. The entry we're focusing on is notes on gardening.
Part 786.
Part 786.
786. Just let that number sink in for a second.
It's wildly impressive. I mean, let's be real about the average attention span. Most people start a hobby, they buy all the gear, write 3 blog posts about it, and then ghost it for 5 years.
We've all been there. The graveyard of abandoned hobbies in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
But Aang has nearly 800 entries just on gardening.
And that's just one vertical.
Right. He has notes on fish keeping, up to part 179, notes on dieting, part 114, and of course the really technical stuff, notes on Haskell programming, part 40.
And Haskell is a notoriously difficult programming language, isn't it?
It's incredibly rigorous.
Yeah.
It's very mathematical. It is not something you just pick up casually on a rainy Sunday.
So whether he's wrestling with a line of Haskell code or figuring out why his aquarium has algae,
he treats it with the exact same level of scrutiny.
It's all just systems administration to him.
And the consistency is just relentless. We ran the numbers on his archives just to get a sense of the scale. In 2024, he posted 732 times.
Wow.
In 2025, he posted 730 times.
It is literally 2 posts a day.
Yeah.
Every single day. For years.
That's not a hobby anymore. That's a discipline. It's a practice. It reminds me of old ship captains keeping a logbook.
Yes.
Wind, southeast, Crew morale high, supplies low. You don't skip an entry just because nothing exciting happened. You record the data because the data is the point.
It's a logbook for a modern life. And just like a captain's log, it's not really written to entertain an audience. It's written to record reality. He even has this disclaimer on the site that I found really refreshing.
And the liability clause?
Yes. He writes, "Opinions expressed here are my own. I cannot guarantee the accuracy and will accept no liability for any loss or damage."
It's pure engineer speak. It's the software equivalent of works on my machine.
Right.
He's saying, look, I'm running this code, this gardening technique on my server, and it's working. If you run it on your server and your garden crashes, well, that's on you.
I love that humility, though. It's not the fake humility of an influencer saying, "I'm so humbled."
No, it's practical.
It's the practical humility of a scientist. He titles everything notes on. He doesn't call it the ultimate guide to gardening. He's not claiming to be a guru.
That's a key distinction. He's showing you his rough work.
Yeah.
He's documenting the process of learning rather than presenting the final polished product.
Which brings us to the rough work of January 24th, the specific entry. And what I love about this is the setting. It's so delightfully mundane.
He's not on some scientific expedition to the Galapagos.
No. He's in his own neighborhood. He writes, "While waiting for our food to be prepared, I took the opportunity to stroll around the neighborhood."
He's waiting for takeout. That's the setting for this biological discovery.
Think about what most of us do when we're waiting for takeout.
Oh, we're on our phones, scrolling social media, checking emails. We are anywhere but there.
Completely. We're just killing time.
Aang isn't killing time. He's using it. He's scanning the environment. He's looking at what the neighbors are growing. He's, you could say, debugging the neighborhood ecosystem.
And in that scan, he spots a plant, but not a pretty one. This isn't a prize-winning rose bush.
No. He notices a plant pot that has seen better days. He calls it a partially broken pot.
And because the pot is broken, the plant inside has an exposed root system.
Okay, so let's pause on the biology here. Exposed roots are usually a panic signal for a plant, right?
Absolutely. Roots need moisture. They need protection from the sun. If I see a plant with exposed roots, I assume it's on death's door.
Most people would. They'd see trash. They'd see a neglected mess. But Aang looks at this broken system, and he doesn't see failure.
He sees success.
He does. He notes that despite the broken hardware, the software of the plant is running perfectly. He calls it remarkably resilient.
He's identifying a survivor. He's looking at a stress test in the real world. So let's talk about the survivor. It's the Kalanchoe laetivirens.
The mother of thousands.
The mother of thousands.
It's a fascinating succulent. Visually, it's quite distinctive. It has these large, kind of bluish-green leaves. But the reason it gets that dramatic name,
Mother of Thousands,
is its reproductive strategy. It is incredibly aggressive.
It's basically the Tribble of the plant world.
That's a fair comparison. Aang describes how it grows tiny plantlets all along the scalloped edges of its leaves.
So it looks like the leaf is wearing like a fringe of baby plants.
Yeah, like a necklace of clones. And these aren't seeds, right? They're already little living plants.
Correct. This is vegetative propagation. The
Right.
plant doesn't wait for a bee to pollinate a flower. It doesn't wait for a fruit to ripen.
It just mass produces clones of itself on its own body. And Aang notes that when these cloudlets fall off, they immediately take root the moment they touch soil.
Immediately. That's the word that stuck out to me. It implies speed. It implies urgency.
It's an evolutionary numbers game. Most plants invest a lot of energy into a few high-quality seeds. This plant invests a tiny bit of energy into thousands of potential clones. It floods the market.
So it doesn't care if 90% of them die.
Not at all. Because the volume is so high that survival is statistically guaranteed.
I have to bring the software analogy back in because we know how Aang thinks. This plant isn't an artisan, it's a script. It's like a cron job on a server.
Okay, explain that for the non-tech listeners.
A cron job is just a command that schedules a task to run automatically. It doesn't need a user to click OK. It just runs in the background. Copy, paste, execute, over and over.
That is a perfect way to view it through his eyes. This plant is automated survival.
It's a self-replicating script.
And for a software plumber like Aang, who probably spends his life trying to automate tedious tasks, that kind of biological efficiency must be, I mean, he'd have to respect it. He's seeing good code in nature.
It's set it and forget it gardening. But here's where the tinkerer mindset really kicks in. He doesn't just admire the plant and walk away with his takeout. He immediately pivots to application. He has a problem to solve.
He does. He mentions in the post that he has bare, open patches in our backyard where the soil is less than ideal.
Less than ideal. I love that polite euphemism for bad dirt.
Exactly. It's probably compacted, dry, nutrient-poor. Nothing wants to grow there. He's got a buggy operating environment, and he's looking for a software patch that can run on that bad hardware.
And he sees this mother of thousands surviving in a broken pot with exposed roots, and the light bulb just goes on.
He formulates a hypothesis. He writes, given its prolific nature and ability to thrive even in neglected conditions, I wonder if we should consider this species for the bare open patches.
See, this is the difference between a decorator and an engineer. A decorator would ask, does this plant look nice here? Does it match the color scheme?
But an engineer asks, does this plant meet the system requirements for this terrible soil?
Precisely. It's a functional decision. He's matching the resilience of the organism to the harshness of the environment. He explicitly calls it a gardening experiment we can explore in the near future.
I want to double-click on that word, experiment.
Yes.
Because I think that's the secret sauce of his entire worldview. It changes the stakes completely.
Right. If you plant a garden expecting it to be perfect, a showpiece, and things die, you feel like a failure. You think, I have a black thumb.
But if you plant a garden as an experiment and things die, well, you've just gathered data.
Negative results are still results.
Exactly. You can write part 787. Ferns died. Soil too acidic. It removes the ego. It detaches your self-worth from the outcome.
And when you look at the rest of his entries from January 2026, you see that same lack of ego. He's just constantly testing things.
It creates this whole Qianmeng universe where everything is a lab. Just days before this, he posted Dieting, Part 114, Deep Dive into Leicha.
Leicha, that's a tea-based soup, isn't it?
Yes, it's a pestle tea, ground up with herbs and nuts. Very healthy. So he's not just eating lunch, he's analyzing the nutritional components. He's treating his body like another system to be optimized.
And then there's the fish. Fish keeping, Part 179, the unexpected algae.
Ah, algae, the ultimate nemesis of the aquarium hobbyist.
Yeah.
But again, notice the framing. It's unexpected. It's just a variable to be managed. He's debugging the tank.
And then gardening, Part 785, the beginning of my air layering adventure.
Air layering is a pretty advanced technique. It's technical. It requires precision.
And revisiting the butterfly pea in Part 784, it just keeps going. What strikes me is how he bounces between high-tech code Rust, Python, Haskell, and doot under the fingernails gardening without missing a beat.
Because to him, they aren't different disciplines. We tend to silo things. I'm a tech person or I'm a nature person.
He rejects that division.
Completely. Code is a system of logic. A garden is a system of biology. An aquarium is a system of chemistry. He's a systems administrator for all of them. The tool set changes, keyboard versus shovel, but the mindset is identical. Observe, hypothesize, test, document.
And share. We can't forget the sharing part. Why put this all online? He could just keep a private journal.
Well, that brings us back to the floss philosophy we started with. Free and open source. If you look at his sidebar, he lists the organizations he supports.
Yeah, who is on that list?
The Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Free Software Foundation, the Tor Project, Wikipedia.
The heavy hitters of digital freedom and open information.
These are organizations that believe information should be free. That knowledge shouldn't be gated behind paywalls or kept in secret silos. So by publishing his notes on gardening, Ang is contributing to the commons.
He's saying, here is my source code for growing a mother of thousands. Here is my source code for fighting algae.
He's open sourcing his lifestyle.
He is, and he's inviting you to fork the repository.
Which, in software, means taking someone else's code and using it as a base to build your own version. He wants you to take his notes and improve on them.
But without the pressure of being an influencer, so much content today is performative. It's, look at my perfect garden. It's designed to make you envious.
Right.
Ang is just saying, look at this broken pot I found. Here's what I'm thinking about it.
That authentic discovery is so rare. In a world of AI-generated text and polished marketing copy, reading the raw, unedited observations of a guy waiting for takeout is just incredibly grounding.
It's real data. It's signal amidst the noise. It validates the small life. It tells us you don't need to be some tech billionaire launching rockets to have an interesting life.
You just need to pay attention to the moss growing on your driveway or the nutritional content of your tea. The interest comes from the depth of attention, not the scale of the object.
That's a really powerful takeaway. The interest comes from the depth of attention.
It's true, though, and I think there is a lesson here about permission. Ang gives himself permission to be a beginner, even after 786 posts.
How so?
Because he's still calling them notes. He's still asking questions. Remember the title, Should We Explore Mother of Thousands? He's not declaring anything.
He's not saying Mother of Thousands is the best plant. He's asking a question. He's keeping his mind pliable.
He hasn't calcified into an expert who knows everything.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because after 786 posts, he is an expert. But he maintains the beginner's mind.
In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's, there are few.
Exactly. Ang wants to keep the possibilities open.
So if we look at this deep dive as a whole, we have a few layers. There's the biological layer. The Mother of Thousands is a survival machine.
The biological cron job.
Right. Then we have the personal layer. Ang, the software plumber, using the discipline of coding to document his life.
The experimental living layer.
And then the philosophical layer, a commitment to open knowledge, sharing the failures and successes so the whole network, the readers, get smarter.
It's a powerful combination. It makes you realize that tinkering isn't just messing around. It's a valid way to engage with reality rather than just consuming it.
It makes you want to start a logbook. Day 1, drink coffee. It was lukewarm. Hypothesis, microwave needs calibration.
See? You're already doing it. It's part 1. Only 785 to go.
I don't know if I have the stamina, but let's go back to that broken pot for a final thought. I can't shake that image.
The plant with the exposed roots.
Yeah, it's such a strong visual. Ang looks at a shattered container, something that is objectively broken, and he sees a solution. He sees that the plant inside has adapted to the brokenness.
And because it adapted to that brokenness, it became tougher. It became the perfect candidate for his less than ideal soil.
Right. If it had been pampered in a perfect greenhouse, it probably wouldn't survive his backyard. It's a complete reframe of what value looks like. We usually look for the pristine, the new, the perfect.
We throw away the broken pot.
Ang studies the broken pot. He realizes the struggle made the plant valuable. The defect became the feature. So here's the question I want to leave you with today. We all have bare, open patches in our lives. Problems we can't solve, projects that won't grow. And we all have things we overlook because they look messy or broken.
The weeds in the neighborhood.
Exactly. So in your own life, what are you dismissing as trash or broken right now? Is there a messy solution, a broken pot, somewhere in your environment that actually contains the exact resilience you need to fix your problem?
And sometimes the answer isn't in the shiny store-bought box. It's waiting for you in the cracks of the sidewalk.
You just have to be willing to stop scrolling, look at it, and ask, how does this system work?
And maybe write a note about it.
Thanks for taking this walk with us. Keep tinkering.
Until next time.